If you don't know by now, I bought 3 Audi RS7s that cost me near $100,000, and each of them has their own story, so listen up. The first one I bought to give away to someone who subscribes to my Instagram at BYBTim. Yes, if you're subscribed, you're entered to win. That simple. Once I started wrenching on that one, I absolutely fell in love and I had to get myself one. And this is where my Nardo one comes into the picture. And well, the last one, it was an accident. I placed a pre-bid on it, woke up and won it for what I think is a killer deal. So with that being said, if you know anyone looking for an RS7, I got one for sale. You guys probably know by now, but I have 3 Audi RS7s. And if you guys don't know by now, click this link right here. It's going to be a video to the reveal of my 3 Audi RS7s. This one here is the one that we got the absolute latest. And since we got it late, we didn't really have parts for it in the previous episode. But this episode, we're going to get this thing on its feet. You guys can see a little bit of parts here. We do have the front air suspension. And I'm a little bit worried because this line is pinched and I got a repair kit, hoping that thing doesn't air leak. I also did want to tell you guys the price I paid for all 3 RS7s. Well, just individually. This one here I won, and after fees, it was $27,682. So that's without getting it shipped here and any of the parts. You guys let me know which Audi is the best deal. But right now, let's get to picking that wheel up and changing the suspension components and seeing if we can get this thing aired back up, because right now it's squatted to the floor. Well, the first thing we got to do is jack this car up and take off the wheel. After getting the wheel off, we can use the wheel as a seat, but make sure you put the safety jack under the car to prevent yourself from any injuries. Make sure the jack is placed in a proper and secure spot. Now, we can start wrenching and taking off the old damaged suspension components. And since they are damaged, we'll be needing hammers and possibly grinders. Damaged suspension is always tough to take off. All right, well, we're unscrewed here, so I don't know what's holding it. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's holding that. So we're unscrewed here. The only thing we have is down here. And I really don't know why it's not letting go. This may look very easy, but it's definitely not. It took me about 3 hours just to get the 2 upper control arms off the knuckle. And that's because everything is just bent. We're just about stuck right here. And look at this. So we have the strut here. It goes into this piece here, and this piece kind of forks over this lower control arm. We don't have much wiggle room. These right here, upper control arms, you can't take these bolts out, so you can't replace them until the strut is dropped. So if one of these are bent, you guys have to drop this entire strut just to swap them out. So we're figuring that out right now. We're hoping this one here is not bent. And man, nothing like getting a little bit of good sweat in and doing some dirty hard work with your hands. Boy, I tell you, it feels good. But what doesn't feel good is this strut here, just giving me the hardest time of my life. But we got it out. There. Well, if that fender was on, we would never have got this out. Come on. Oh. Ouch. I don't understand this. The math ain't mathin'. There's our trophy. Wow. That is hard. We got it. That's one piece. Now we gotta reassemble everything. And I wanna show you guys this air suspension line repair kit thing I bought. So look at this. It's got 2 shark bites, one here and one here. Not sure if we need it to be this long. Hopefully this works. You see, this is where it's pinched right there. Just about 4 or 5 inches. Yo, check this out. Before we go to assemble everything, I want to show you guys how bad these upper control arms are. This is how it should be. And this is how this one should be. Pretty darn crazy. These things have to go in first, because if you don't put those in and you put the strut in, the bolt's not gonna fit. I'm really hoping that once those new ones go in there, this wheel stands straight and we have no damage on the knuckle, because I don't want to swap the knuckle. Let's get it all assembled. For some reason, the reinstallation process was much easier than the disassembly process. We put the control arms in, then the strut. The control arms though had very, very little room to tighten the bolts, so we used this little trick right here. Little secret and tip for you guys. If you can't reach with like a good sized, ratchet to tighten something, you can actually use 2 crescent wrenches put them like this, and now you have a long extension piece. So here, and we gotta tighten them down. So go here, and look at that. Oh yeah, that's so much tighter. And once again, we are preloading suspension. Right now it's lowered. You know, it's lowered to roughly ride height plus minus, and it's preloaded. So I think we're just about ready to see what we can do with this air suspension thing. I'm thinking to get a shark bite, but I don't know what size it is. I'm very disappointed that repair kit came in and just completely wrong size. So I don't know, we gotta figure this out. I thought I was all done with the suspension assembly. I was super excited, but the worst thing that could have happened just happened. Well, it's another day working on Audis, and Audis, you know, they like to be a little bit difficult. First thing is this air suspension line. We went to Lowe's, nothing there to repair. Just they're too big, too wide, and still confused why the one that we bought, the repair kit, doesn't fit. Second thing was what I wasn't expecting is this knuckle being bent, and it turns out that it is bent, so it kind of sucks. But you guys can see it's touching the inside of the tire right there. So that means we have to get a new knuckle. So about $200 some more into this build. You know, it seemed like it was the best deal in the beginning, but it might just turn out a little bit more expensive than the other ones. Anyways, we do have more work cut out for us, and we did get a lot of work done. So without dropping our spirits too low, let's continue working. I also just lowered it, and wow, it is bent. The wheel is straight right now. That side is straight, so what if it's more than just the knuckle? Yo. Don't scare me. Okay, let's order the knuckle and get that swapped out. We have came to pick up a knuckle for our RS7. Luckily, there's a shop right by my house, so let's see if they got it. Well, we are back here now, and we actually got a knuckle for significantly cheaper than I thought. This was only $150. We're hoping that this is gonna get this wheel straight. Luckily, those control arms that we changed and the strut that we changed doesn't really interfere, so regardless, we didn't do too much extra work. Let's get this thing swapped out and see what it does. For me to get this done extremely fast, I mixed my coffee with Red Bull, and by the way, this scene right here is not fast forwarded whatsoever. This is actual speed. Oh, yes. I'm still amazed at how I end up doing all this with almost no tools. Okay, I'm happy to confirm that the knuckle is actually bent. This is our used knuckle, and if we put it up exactly how that one is sitting, so that one's sitting on its bearing, and you look down from this angle, look here. You see how much this one's off the ground and how much this one is? Look at that, look at that. You got a lot more play over there. So we're hoping this is the last thing. There is 2 more bottom control arms and a tie rod that I have not changed, but they don't look damaged. So let's just go ahead and reinstall this. The new knuckle I got came off an Audi S7. I was afraid that the hub bearing would be a different size, resulting in it not fitting over my RS7 axle. So I decided to switch them out, but then realized that they are the exact same size and part number. And since the new bearing has only 27,000 miles and has never been in an accident, I figured it would be a smarter move. Once I got that transferred over, I was ready to put the knuckle in. And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, out of over 200 suspension assemblies I've ever worked on, this was the most difficult job ever. Thanks, Audi. Doing suspension work has a massive downside. You usually beat your fingers. I can't really feel this one right here. But on the bright side, we are basically finished up with the suspension. Besides the airline, I'm waiting for that piece. This knuckle was bent, air strut replaced. Went ahead and put a lower mileage bearing on there because my car has 47,000. That bearing has like 27,000 miles on it. And good thing about all of this is the wheel now finally looks straight. So pretty happy about that. We won't really know until we get alignment, but look at that. Boom, everything is now installed. Super happy with everything. Yo, so after assembling all this, I was literally sitting here and stressing out about this airline, and check what I found out. So look at this. Right here is the airline that is ripped off, right? And I thought it goes in like, because it followed this line right here, I thought it goes in down there and then somewhere just gone. But it ends up, it goes here, then back up. So I basically just pull the tape back and let it come out right here. And now it easily reaches that right there. Like super easy, like ton of room. So basically we don't really need to do anything. So that's good. Let's go ahead and put that on, put the wheel up and air this thing up and see what it does. So this is the end piece that we need to transfer over onto the line that we're going to be connecting to the bag. And don't ask me how this is airtight. I have no idea, but it seems to work and hold air. So we're just going to go with it. Fit like a glove, popped it right back into the bag, tightened it, and ka-chow. We got to see if this air suspension lifts up. Hopefully it does, because if it doesn't, we're in for a little treat. Air leak? Oh, what the? Yo, look under here. I think the forklift driver just butchered this thing. Right there. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, I think the forklift driver butchered it, dude. So I lifted a car and this bag just popped out and it was like this, sitting in there. Which means only one thing, that the forklift driver, not only did he wreck my front bumper, he also wrecked this bag because the fork, you know, just hit it right here. You can see exactly right over here. This is where there's lines. I don't know if you can see that right there. You see it's bent and the bag sits right here, right before it. So shout out to IAA forklift drivers for doing extra damage. Now we gotta get a bag. Oh my gosh, can't believe this. One massive thing I like about living in Florida is that everyone has parts. I have picked myself up a bag. It was about 30 minutes away from here. $100 later, we got ourselves a bag. It's off an S6. It is the exact same part number. So we're hoping that once we install this, we don't have any more forklift damage. So let's do this. How would you guys feel when you pay $27,000 for a car and it comes to your house with extra $6,000 worth of damage? Yeah. There we have it. My favorite thing about air suspension is that it's so easy to put in here. You just, you can squish it down, easily fit it in here. So that was pretty easy compared to a spring where I'd have to take apart some suspension over there. All right. It's coming up, huh? Yeah, it's airing up. Let's see if it holds. We've aired up before. So look at this, yo. Look at this. Steering wheel is stiff. It's electrical steering, so we might have a problem there. Gotta figure that out. Bring our computer here. Before we start diagnosing why the steering wheel is so stiff, we gotta pop the front bumper off and check out why is there no coolant inside the car. And then to take off the front bumper is very simple. There's bolts and clips just all around the perimeter of it. Once you get all those off, this thing should just clip right off. I've actually just noticed that the forklift did even more damage. He broke this grill. Look at that. I don't know, this is unbelievable. That grill is like $1,700, so. Once again, this is the bumper that has 500 connections on it, so we gotta unconnect everything. With the bumper off, we can now confirm that we have the dustiest RS7 ever. Luckily, the coolant leak, though, was something very, very minor. It was just this little radiator on the side, and it was easy to buy, and it was cheap. So, super glad about that. So, when we unloaded this vehicle from the trailer, I was really, really worried because it was low on coolant and it was leaking coolant. So, I thought maybe it's going to be an expensive fix, but it turned out to be the cheapest thing, which is this little radiator, which was like $100. So, thank God for that. We're going to go ahead and put this thing on, top it off with coolant, and technically we should all be solid. This thing is just kind of running into issues back and forth, so. Luckily, swapping out this radiator was probably one of the easier things we've done on this car. After swapping this out, we have to move on to the interior because the current airbag is blown. And the challenge here is to actually get this current airbag changed without dropping the entire headliner, just because I don't want to do that much work, and I think I can get this done without dropping the entire headliner. We got it out without pulling the headliner out. Just dropped it and it's out. Honestly, I was quite impressed I was able to pull that airbag out without dropping the headliner, because these clips here are just the biggest pain in the butt to work with. And I'm just gonna say this, if you know, you know. So now that we got the current airbag back in its place, the pigtail connected and everything working perfect, it was time to reassemble the headliner. And I did want to highlight that the headliner has absolutely no damage, which is the best part about all of this, because can you guys imagine how expensive it would be to drop the headliner, ship it off to a repair company, or potentially get a new headliner and install it? I'm sure Audi would want at least like $3,000 for that headliner. So I felt like I got away scot-free right there. It was time to reassemble all the brackets, the handles, the panels, and everything it took to take off this headliner, and we've done it. It looks absolutely perfect. A feeling when everything goes in perfectly smooth. Look at those lines. There's no creases on the headliner. Everything is just perfect. Everything works, and everything went back into its place. So I'm super happy about that. Although we do still have a little bit of interior work right now, that's not what we got to focus on. So I was thinking to postpone the seatbelt repair on this car until the giveaway RS7 seatbelts come back from L&D. Yeah, that's how you say it. But there's no reason to wait, because we're gonna have to take these off, send them into L&D, and then wait a couple of days until they repair these and send them back. We've done this already once, so let's get right through it. I want to show you guys a little thing right here. Look at this. These belts, when they lock up, they literally damage these panels. So hopefully we can heat that up and that'll get back into place. Well, this is pretty straightforward. Ooh, nothing broke. Oh, yep, clips came off. We're solid. So when you unscrew it and release it, it'll start working like this, but you're gonna still have an airbag light on, and these still need to be rebuilt to blow up again the next time you get in an accident, you know, God forbid. But these are gonna be sent off and repaired. So yeah, on to the next. And since we've done this once already on the giveaway RS7, the process of removing the seatbelts is much easier. I went through this like a breeze. It took me just about 30 minutes to get all 4 belts off, and here are the belts inside my Audi R8 work truck. This is just crazy how many codes this thing has. See that? Do not drive, vehicle steering wheel defective. And guys, I've been diagnosing this car here for a while, and look at this. I can't even turn this wheel with one hand. It's so stiff. I've been using my auto here, and with this auto I figure out just about any issue, but I'm really confused why I can't figure out this steering issue here. This is a electrical steering rack, not a hydraulic one. And honestly, the thing that worries me most is that I think the forklift driver may potentially have done even more damage, where he could have just busted the computer on the rack, and now my computer's not having any communication with the rack, and that's why my steering is stiff. But we're only gonna find that out in the next episode. So right now, let's go back to my house and tell you guys the price on the 2 other RS7s. We did get the seatbelts off. Those are gonna be sent off, so we have a couple of days to work on the other ones while we're waiting for parts on this one. Let's go. Although I was not planning to make this episode about that 3rd RS7 that I got, but it turns out it's like that because we just kept running into issues back to back to back. I feel like we should be holding these auction forklift drivers a little bit accountable. That way we can fix this issue a little bit, but that will probably never happen. And I did promise to tell you guys all the prices I've paid for the 3 RS7s, so let's go. This here is the giveaway RS7. It is a 2014 with 69,000 miles. I do have a bumper for it right there. Don't worry, this thing is going off to paint very shortly, but I did pay for it $22,008. So the winning bid was $20,500. After fees was $22,800. And although I may have overpaid for it, truly I don't really regret it, because first of all, you guys are absolutely loving the content, and second of all, this thing here is gonna go to somebody for completely free, which actually kind of blows my mind. I can't imagine being that person that subscribes to my Instagram and then gets an RS7 at their door. That's kind of mind-blowing, but I didn't see the wire harness, so I think I overpaid for it. But whatever, let's go into the last RS7. The last RS7 is my RS7, and this is the one I paid the absolute most for, and you guys can probably tell why. First of all, the damage is not too expensive, although I didn't see the damage inside there. It is a Nardo 2016 with 41,000 miles. I paid $30,753 after fees without shipping, stuff like that. But that's the damage inside there. It'll make some killer content getting this thing repaired, so I'm super pumped for that. And out of all 3 RS7s, I want you guys to let me know which one would you buy if you had the opportunity, and which one is your favorite. Some people like the pre-facelift, some people like the facelift. But anyways, don't forget that every video I post in the first 24 hours, if you comment, you have an opportunity to earn $100. So I usually just pick a random comment and I PayPal them or Venmo them $100. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, smash that like button. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.